Okay, so church trauma part 6, piggybacking off of the last video about like me being on stage. Now, mind you, a lot of that my nervousness about like being in a spotlight stems from how, not so great it was to like have my mom's attention. Now, going back to the part about like my singing ability being lacking, um I used to actually, my mom actually ended up like not maybe not giving me, but letting me use one of her CDs, and it was Linkin Park, and it was the first time I ever actually had music that matched exactly how I feel, and I put all of my emotions into singing the Linkin Park songs, especially what was it? Numb. That's what it was. The part where it goes, what? How does it? Now I can't remember the damn lyrics. But the part where it says he's trying to become like I'm trying to become more like me and be less like you. There's another song too. I think it was a more recent one than that one. I don't even remember the name of that album. I just know it was Red, and it might have been one of their first. But I overplayed that CD because it was the first time I had anything other than, how much is that doggy in the window type music. And if you study music, you know, if you know, you know. And it was like, oh my gosh, there's a whole other genre out there that I can like, and I overplayed it, I oversang it, all of that stuff. And like, then she's like, I don't think I like when I think I'm gonna take that CD back because I don't like that you're singing these songs, and this is too old for you. And mind you, I think I was like 12, between 12 and like 13, maybe 11, latest. But I felt the songs like so deep to my fucking core. And like when she noticed that, it seemed like she was just like, nah, I don't like you doing that because this is music that's not really for your age group. And fair, I guess, but it's the only thing that made me feel like it. And so I was just like, what? Like, it didn't make fucking sense. So I just went back to listening to the radio or whatever. And I absolutely fucking hated it. And then she would complain about the fact that when Linkin Park linked up with Jay-Z, they started cursing in their songs more, and one of those before it was cool type things. Well, like she just criticized it. She's like, I don't even really like this band anymore because ever since they linked up with Jay-Z, they curse a lot and all of that stuff. Which is funny because she would always ask me where the hell I got my motherfucking cursing ability from. And mind you, this woman was in the Navy. And she would curse at us like this all the damn time. So that's where I picked it up. The only thing is like when you pass something down to your child, it gets enhanced. So it may have been a little bit enhanced, but for the most part, she cursed the same exact way when we were kids, but she was in denial about it. So when she actually heard me start doing it, because eventually I got to the point where I'm like, I'm a full fledged adult. She can't control what comes out of my mouth, at least on that level. Then she was really fucking confused because I didn't used to curse around her. I used to like not curse around her and then curse wherever the fuck I was away from her. And so yeah. Then back into so that's what happened like with music and stuff. And that's how actually that's why I think it was a nightmare for her when I actually started getting into Eminem because cleaning out the closet was my go-to. It was my go-to. Screaming it to the top of my lungs and trying really hard not to say the curse words. In high school, mind you. Like anyways, going back to the gifts part. Um So my gifts would be pointed out a lot when I would actually end up using them because I heard all the time that I just have a very high level of discernment. And I would always get told that as a kid and like all the way up through freaking high school. But the way that they would say it made me feel self conscious. And they would also seem to like you can't tell me that I have a very high level of discernment and then when I use it tell me that I'm wrong because then I have no ability. But yeah, you can't tell me that I have this gift and then keep telling me that it's wrong every time I use it because I feel the same way when I'm using it with everybody else versus when I'm using it with them. And it's just like it threw me off. It threw me off. It threw off my feelings and how I picked things up by how I was like by the patterns, by how I was feeling, and by how I was being treated, all of that. It really fucked me up in my motherfucking head. And then as I started to like see things like, you know, the thing that tried to suck the life out of me one morning, and I was told that it was a fucking succubus, and nothing else after that. So how am I supposed to fight this? And there was times where I actually got removed from my body by spirits because I was an open channel and I didn't fucking know until literally between last year and this year. So half the times that they were threatening me, saying that, one day you're going to say something and you're going to get punched in the face for it, I was channeling because something else had taken over and spoken for me. And like, I'll go into another video about like specifically the times that I got pushed out of my body. But it happened multiple times, and each time like I was channeling something, somebody would say something to negate what I said when I channeled the message, and like basically tell me that I was wrong, and then whatever it was would disconnect from me, and then I lost it. And it got to the point where I was no longer able to connect like that. Like I would block it out, and I couldn't let them speak through me anymore because they just walls formed all around me. And I got completely walled off from all of my gifts that way because I was denied even like the acknowledgement of I had them beyond, oh yeah, you have them. Okay, what am I supposed to do with it? You know what it means to have this, and yet you refuse to say anything more than, oh yeah, you have it, and then tell me that what I'm feeling about you is wrong because you don't want to be fucking seen. Because you don't want to have to own up to the shit that you've done. And then, like, later on in life, they keep asking me, oh, why are you so full of doubt? Why are you doubting yourself? Why do you think? And it's funny because as an adult when I came back to my family, I was just like, why am I doubting myself? And I was looking them directly in the face while they were sitting there, like wondering why I was doubting my gifts and doubting myself. And I was just like, do you not remember the things that you have said to me that triggered me into this doubt? Because my aunt was literally the go-to person for all of this stuff. She had all of the fucking gifts. And I wasn't told what exactly to do. And my discernment level was so high at one point that, again, I recognized the creepers as demons because I had nothing else to call them. And I would encounter this because I was starting to awaken again. And then like I mentioned that and they're like, oh yeah, your level of discernment is increasing. And then back into the fucking gaslighting, back into the bullshit, because life was beating them up, so they couldn't be bothered to help me through this because they knew that fucking house that we were living in was fucking haunted when I was in high school. And like it was just pretty much ignored, but I was feeling the effects of every freaking spirit in that house, and it was full to the brim of spirits.